What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of American Horror Story, okay? 1984. Listen. The ending took me clear out. This episode probably was one of the better episodes that we've had. This out of the 3 episodes that's been out, because it was so many twists and turns in this episode, and no one is who they say they are, okay? So this episode is called Slashdance. But anyway, this episode 3, season 9, 1984, American Horror Story. Let's just get into it. So the episode starts off where it left off last week. We have Nurse Rita, Ray, Brooke, and Chet. They're in the infirmary trying to get Nurse Rita's car keys, okay? Then you have Xavier and Trevor and Montana in the camp, in the camper or whatever, cabin, I should say, trying to get Trevor's keys to his motorcycle. Both places they're locked in because Mr. Jingles is over at the camp, the cabin. And then you have, the Night Stalker over there at the infirmary. He trying to get in. Bang, 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 bang. And here go Ray. It's always one in the bunch. One in the bunch that's basically like, listen, it's 4 of us, and it'd be a better chance if, one of us kick the bucket and everybody else just leave, because if we split up, we stay together, we can, survival of the fittest, Darwinism, okay? Listen, just make a run for it. He can't run after all 4 of us. One of us might just get it, but it leaves 3 of us to, go get help or whatever. And so at this point, he started running out, and, Night Stalker opens up the door right in front of them. And so Nurse, I was about to call her Nurse Candy. Nurse Rita and Brooke and Chad, they run around to the other door. Okay, so at this point, it looks like Ray is going to get it, and then the Night Stalker coming after him, slicing him up and everything. And I'm like, run, boy, why are you just standing there? Run. Chet comes back and he grabs him off the floor because he falls down because dude was slicing his arms up just, And so they get him and they running in the woods and everything. And at this point, I think Chet pushed him or whatever as well. Something like that happened. And so they run in the woods and it was this ditch, okay? And Ray and Chet wind up falling into the ditch. Mind you, in the ditch, it has these spikes, okay, wooden spikes up, and Chet winds up going through his shoulder. One of the spikes went through his shoulder, okay? And Ray, he just hurt himself or whatever. He kind of knocked himself out. Nurse Rita was like, listen, what we gonna do about that? We'll meet them at the car, because they didn't know that they had fell in the ditch. They thought that they just split up for a second, They know we going to the car. They'll meet up at the car. So they over there at the car, Brooke and Nurse Rita, and they want to go. I think it was Brooke that wanted to go, get help or whatever. And it was like, you're supposed to meet up with everybody. The plan was everybody to meet at the car and the motorcycle, okay? So that they can all get out. And at this point, it doesn't happen because Chet and Ray are separated. The other ones are in the camp. Mind you, they in the cabin thinking that it's Mr. Jingles out there. Next thing you know, the pounding on the door stopped. Xavier talking about some, listen, this is just karma, okay? This karma justice right about now, for all the stuff that I did, for bringing y'all out here, that's what it is, okay? We might as well just accept this fate. And next thing you know, the knocking stopped, okay? Then all of a sudden, we see that the window get broken, and we see somebody that looks like Mr. Jingles right there. They're like, oh my God. And then something flies through the window that's on fire. Trevor gets up and he starts putting out the fire. He's bamming down on it, and he's noticing that the shit is mushy and it's shit, okay? And it stinks. And then you hear these dudes outside like, yeah, we got him good. I've been saving up my shit for 3 weeks for this and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here like, what? So you go outside, it's these 2 dudes, okay? And they have on the Mr. Jingles costume. So basically, on the anniversary of this massacre that happens, kids go around, or teens or whoever, they go around and play pranks on like different hospitals or, you know, stores or whatever, you know, so that's restaurants and shit like that. So that's what they was doing. This year they did it out here at Camp Redwood because Camp Redwood is open. And so at this point, you know, they was about to get pissed off at him, but yet in the background, the real Mr. Jingles pops up. So one of the boys like, oh, dude, he thinking that it's his other friend Pete, and you know, he was like, you missed all the fun. They was like, that is not nobody else. That is the real Mr. Jingles right there, bruh. Okay? Dude get his, because he come through and he just stabs him in the stomach. Next thing you know, he slices his throat. Mind you, Trevor said, everybody, let's go. Okay? They run. The friend is standing right there by like 3 feet away from Mr. Jingles. 3 feet away. Maybe let me say that again. Probably like 10 feet. Nope, probably 5 feet away. Okay? No, around that. Enough space for you to fucking run. Okay? You could have ran. You stood there and gonna say something. Yo, bro, what's going on? What you doing? Your friend just got killed in front of you. Okay? And you see everybody else running, but you decide to keep your ass right there and let this fucked up peg leg dude come ahead and just drag his bum leg over there to you and kill your ass and take your ear. I said you deserve that. You freaking deserve that. Then Mr. Jingles come across the other dude that was supposed to be with them, and he little chunky dude, you know, he got asthma. He said that his mama, I know my mama made y'all take me or whatever, because he thinking that he's talking to his friends or whatever. And so he was like, I just wanted to go ahead and do this because on this night when I had his mask on, I'm like the best serial killer, the number one serial killer in the world, and I feel like I'm somebody. And so I guess Mr. Jingles felt like he ain't worth me killing him or whatever, because he just let him go and kept on going after the other ones. You know, at this point, Ray and Chet trying to figure out how they gonna get up out of there. Brooke and you know, Nurse Rita trying to figure out what they gonna do. So Brooke was like, I'm finna go get some help. Nurse Rita was like, hold up. You know what? You just trying to leave everybody? She was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Here, take the keys or whatever, and you can go down the road and go get the people or whatever. And I'll stay here and wait for everybody to show up. Okay, I'm sitting here like when Nurse Rita was about to give Brooke them keys, when she actually gave her them keys and she was about to get in the car, I'm thinking Brooke about to go walk down the block or something like that. No, you about to take the car and you gonna leave Nurse Rita there. I said, Nurse Rita, girl, this ain't what we do. First of all, we don't go out there and camping like this, okay? We don't play around with shit like this. It's 1984. Girl, nah, we ain't trying to do all this stuff. And then you give her the car keys? No, to your car? To your car? Girl, what? We don't do that stuff. Girl, when Brooke opened up that door, next thing you know, Rita pulled out a syringe and stabbed her in the neck with it. I said, what the fuck is going on? I said, huh? Come again? What is happening? Baby, they go into the whole thing. Listen, come back, come to find out, you know, she gave Brooke a little horse tranquilizer, okay? She said, or whatever the fuck it is, because granted, I'm not a real nurse. I said, bitch, then explain yourself. They go back to, I think, a week later, a week before, something, 3 weeks before or a week before, something like that. And we see the director, psychiatrist or whatever, they got killed last week, who came down to the camp, dumbass. And she was up there interviewing somebody. She was like, you know, I see that you went to Dartmouth. I see that you went to Penn. You know, you studying your PhD on these serial killers, and you very, you know, you got all your credentials, and you're very good and at this, and you're excellent at this, and you this and that, giving her all these compliments or whatever about her little, you know, accomplishments and stuff. And it was like, but I'm afraid you're wasting your time, because Mr. Benjamin Ritter, he hasn't spoken anything in all these years. He's not going to speak to you. Baby, turn around and it's Miss Donna Chambers. Who is Miss Donna Chambers? Candy, aka Nurse Rita. I said, who the fuck? Hold up. What's going on? Basically, she's a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever. Psychologist, okay? And her thing is she's doing she's trying to get her PhD, and I guess her thesis or whatever is on, serial killers and all that stuff. And she talking basically about how she's this bad bitch, okay? And she can get these serial killers to talk, she did Ted Bundy, she did this person, the butcher, the trash bag killer. I said the trash bag killer. Now y'all making shit up. Then again, it was so many serial killers back then in the 70s and 80s or whatever. Girl, it could be somebody named that. And so at this point, she was like, if you want to go ahead and do it, you can go ahead and do it. So the director of the facility take her down there and talking to her, telling her what the protocol going to be. He going to be tied up at all times or whatever, safety and all this stuff. But she's getting like very excited by this, and she's fascinated. And he had to look at her like, he was like, okay, calm down, cool, whatever. She had to clear it up real quick. Okay. Mind you, she was supposed to be recording a session. So the director recording it, turned the recorder on. I said like she couldn't just punch stop, and that's exactly what she did. Okay, because when he leaves, she sits down with Benjamin and basically was like, listen, can you talk to me and tell me, why you do what you do, whatever. And, he's not paying no attention to her. But as soon as she stops recording on that recorder, he kind of looks up and she was like, let me tell you something. I basically believe that evil was not born. It's something, people are not born evil. People are made that way, okay? Like it's something that, they forced into that happens to them that makes them snap or whatever, okay? And I believe that what's going on right about now. But just ask me this question. Answer me this question. When did you kill before you was in Vietnam? Did you do any of this? Have any notions to do that? And he was like, no. Okay. And so basically it was like what I feel like, over there being in the Southeast Asia and then pornography. Because if you go back, that is one of the main defense and the main thing that they used to say about these serial killers. It's the reason why all this evil and stuff going on is because of pornography, this and disrespect to the women and all this stuff. That was one of the main thing. They have no respect for women, and that's why porn was, muddying up the mind and all that stuff. And so at this point, she basically making it seem like they told you that you was irredeemable, okay, and all this stuff, but it's not really your fault. You're not really evil. You was made in this way. You was turned to this way, okay? You went out there fighting the war that you really didn't have to fight. You was out here trying to be patriotic and everything, but then, you got met with all this other stuff, and something in you just snapped. That's all that it is. And if we need to know what's going on and what's happening and to understand so we can teach other people so that you can be like the last serial killer in the world, wouldn't that? And he was like, redemption, bitch. Okay, so how can that happen? Imagine she said, touch my hand. He was like, it's so soft and all this stuff. I said, nurse, Donna, what are you doing? And he got all up in her face and he was like, tell me why you want to do all this. He was like, because I feel like you're redeemable and I don't feel like there's evil. People are evil, whatever. They're made that way and all that stuff. They're not born that. They're made that. And I'm sitting here like, you touching on his face. And when you want to tell us something, girl, she remind me of Cheryl. Okay, that's Cheryl. That is Cheryl from Love After Lockup. She was fascinated with the serial killers, okay? And the bank robbers and stuff like that, girl. Ain't nobody got time for this. So it's like she getting a little hard on, she getting Ladywood and everything up here talking about this stuff and everything. I'm sitting here like, Donna, calm down. And then she put up she pulled out the newspaper that he had up in there, okay, of Camp Redwood. And he said as soon as he saw Margaret, he needed the urge to kill her. So he can't go back there. But she said, we have to put you in your environment. And that is your natural environment right there to understand why you do what you do, okay? And so he said, how we going to do this? She was like, we need 3 things. You need to take care of that guard. You need to push that switch. And you need to get that trash bag outside. He do all of that stuff, and then the trash bag was his getup, And so he gets out, and then she said, and meet me at Camp Redwood. Mind you, she on her way to Camp Redwood, and we see this car, right? The same yellow little car. But we see this white girl who has on a nurse uniform that says Rita RN. Okay? So basically she notices that this car has been following her. She pulls over into the gas station and she was like, "You've been following me since I got on the fire. What's going on?" or whatever. She was like, "Girl, listen, I was going up there to Camp Redwood and this is the directions that they showed me to go." And she was like, "Oh, okay," because basically she's going there too. So she didn't feel nothing else about it. And she was like, with all these crazy things going on with these serial killers and stuff like that, you just never know what's gonna happen. She was like, "Yeah, and all these women getting it. We gotta stay together, girl." And you know what I think it is? I think it got something to do with the pornography. Nurse Rita looking at Donna like, "Okay." She was like, "You watch my car?" "Yeah, I watch your car, girl." I said, first of all, I wouldn't. That was a deserted gas station. Wasn't nobody out there. I don't trust stuff like that. It always spells trouble in these shows, in these movies, okay? And so, she goes into the bathroom. She comes back out. Donna and her car gone. I said, "Girl, where your car at? What happened?" Girl, Rita looking like, fuck it. She get in the car. She driving. She listening to Man Eat about who is it? Is it Tom Jones? Oh, I think it is. Y'all will correct me in the comments. But next thing you know, Donna pops up in the backseat of that car like Candy popped up when they went on that girls trip when Electra had that little hallucination of her at the end of that episode of Pose. I said, "What?" And then, they didn't show what she did, but I'm pretty sure she stabbed her and tranked her or whatever, because later on we see her in the cabin. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. And so I said, so that's how she got the car, and that's how she got up out of there. And she wound up, pulling Brooke ass somewhere, and we just don't know where she took her at. Then we get to Ray's situation. Ray is in a pickle himself because he is running from his past that's catching up with him. So basically, Chet passed out. And he just needed to get some stuff off his chest. So he thinking that Chet can't hear him. So he just going ahead and saying, he had got into some trouble because he's a Omega Psi, fraternity or whatever, frat brother. And it was Hell Week or whatever, and it's always getting crazy, but in his junior year, stuff just really got crazy. You see them going back to the frat house and the new pledges or whatever, they having them drink a whole bunch of alcohol. Then they had them go up into this one particular room where these other dudes, other pledges in there circle jerking each other around, literally in a circle jerking each other off and making them do the same thing. Mind you, it was one Asian pledge that, Ray was like getting on the hardest, and he couldn't hang because he basically was like really, really drunk, and he was talking to him outside like, you can't be doing this because us, meaning minorities, we got to go extra hard just to get respect from these folks. And I'm like, whatever. Next thing you know, old boy passes out and he falls down the steps because he said, "I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to get your shit together." He falls down the steps and they thinking that he dead. So he was like, "Look, bro, I'm gonna take care of this," because one of the frat brothers came out, and I said, "Leave it to the black man to come fix this shit." I'm pretty sure it wasn't his idea for y'all to go through this shit in the Hell Week, but let him clean up the goddamn mess. So he put him up in the car on his cliff, and he was going to run the car off the cliff and basically make it seem like drunk driving, I guess, because he do reek of alcohol. And they thought that, he thought that the boy was dead. He pulled the parking brake off, the emergency parking brake off the car. And that's when old boy woke up like, where am I? Where am I? And he was trying to get him out the car, but he couldn't get him out the car. And old boy scratched his arm trying to get out and pulled his watch off. And the car still went over. Mind you, this all happened last year, okay? And so at this point, it's catching up now because they finally found the car. And he was like, it's a matter of time before they find the watch and match it to him, And so basically, this episode showing that Ray is a coward. Ray is a coward, and he do live by that survival of the fittest, Darwinism type of shit. He's all, and I ain't gonna necessarily say coward, but he's all for himself. Okay, he's all for himself. He's not about saving somebody else or whatever. He's all for himself. We saw that when the episode first started, when he was gonna leave them. Okay, we see this now because then Chet woke up and was like, "I ain't gonna tell nobody. I heard what you said or whatever." And he was like, "Fuck this shit. I'm not finna die down here." And he was like, "I'm gonna have to leave your ass here." And he just got up out the hole himself. I said, "Ain't he about a bitch?" Mind you, you got Montana and Trevor and Xavier, they running away trying to get out to safety, and then they hear Mr. Jingles or whatever coming. They go into this old cabin, whatever, and they come across the nurse, okay? And then they untie her, and she making all this noise, and they was like, calm down, because then they hear Jingles coming, and she just roll up out of there. They being quiet. Mr. Jingles wind up killing this bitch. I said, girl, you was better off just staying tied the fuck up, okay? You killed yourself right then and there. He took a broken paddle from a boat and stuffed it down her throat. Have y'all ever seen that movie Identity with John Cusack and trying to demand that with so many personalities and the killers at the hotel or whatever? It was like a play on a normal base Psycho a little bit. That bitch and that inmate that they found with the baseball bat down his throat, that's what that shit reminded me of. I said, bitch, you know, he had too much fun doing that, okay? And so after that, you know, they finally get to the car and they meet up with Ray, and Ray was like, you know, they had got separated. Chet and everybody got separated or whatever. Okay, so they go back, and I don't know how they get back to the ditch or whatever, but they come across the little ditch where Chet was, and they go down there. Surprisingly, Xavier went down there to help him up, and Chet told him, no, we didn't get separated. Ray left my ass, okay? And so at this point, you know, they hear Jingles coming, or who they thought was Jingles, okay? And so they was like, we got to hurry up and get your ass up out of here. So they was like, because at first, Ray didn't want to pull him off the thing because he didn't know if he pulled him off, he would bleed out if that was keeping, because, you know, he worked at a hospital, so he think he know everything, but that was a caution, so that was right, because it could have hit an artery, and he could have bled out or whatever, and that could have been the only thing that was stopping the bleeding, you know, technical shit. But he pulled him off, and they hurried up and got him out the thing, but he was making so much noise, they was trying to calm him down, and they heard them damn keys, right? And then Trevor was like, I got this. It's just us. What we gonna do? He was like, he got a knife. And then here go Trevor. But I got these guns right here. Okay. Next thing you know, he go and pushes who he thought was Mr. Jingles into the pit, and it wasn't. It was the fat boy with the asthma, okay? Because then they find the mask. Mind you, Trevor had given Ray his motorcycle keys to go get the motorcycle and drive down the road to get some help, okay? Call somebody, whatever. And so that's what he was doing. And he up there talking about basically he ain't coming back. It's all for himself. He on that motorcycle. He doing what he got to do. And next thing you know, we thinking he out clear free. Baby Jingle stood up in front of him out of nowhere and took an axe and just cut his goddamn head off. And I said, God damn, the first black to go. I said, ain't this about a bitch? Okay, you lasted 3 episodes, all right. And at this point, the Night Stalker is there, okay? And, Montana sees the Night Stalker and everything. That's what it was. Ray was with Montana, and Ray left Montana. See, he's all about himself, okay? And next thing, she was like, you asshole! And that's when he get killed. And then come to find out, the Night Stalker took his little knife of doing all like this on Montana. I said, slice the bitch if you're going to slice the bitch. Quit playing. Next thing you know, Montana kisses him. And I said, wait a minute, Montana, you trying to get his defenses down? Not with the serial killer. I know you a little, a little horny toad, fluid as hell. But what the hell is going on? You about to die. Girl, next thing you know, Montana said, why the hell you ain't killed her ass yet? I said, what the fuck is going on? I said, after she done bit the shit out of your lip, I said, why she ain't killed her yet? Now, what I'm thinking is she talking about Brooke. And Montana got some, I think she got, I could be wrong, but this is a prediction. She probably got some connection to Brooke's fiance that killed himself. Or the best man. And she just didn't know. That's the only connection that I can get. Unless it's some other backstory that we don't know. I said, bitch, what a twist. First Candy, then Ray, then this. I said, all right, so now we trying to get good. Okay, so y'all, this was a good episode. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it. Tell me who you think Montana is talking about and what y'all think the plan is and why. Okay. And I will see you guys later. And I'm sorry about this being late. I didn't record the first episode. I'm watching the second showing of it. So that's why it's an hour later, whatever. So I apologize. I thought I had it on record, but I didn't. But y'all still gonna get it. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.